So you have done a great job of breaking down the 2025 Notre Dame class, right now number one in the country, and by far they have the most commitments of anyone in the nation. So as we sit here in early March, Mike, give me some early thoughts on the type of grade you would give Notre Dame and the job they've done with this 25 class so far.
So for folks watching on YouTube, I'm putting up this poll that for the Blue and Gold message board subscribers, which if you want to become one, promo code UND1 gets you 2 months of access for just $1. So you can check that out at blueandgold.com. Again, $1, 2 months for new subscribers, promo code UND1. So I asked, what grade do you give Notre Dame's 2025 recruiting efforts / class? Right? Because if you just look at the committed class, that's one grade, but I feel like you got to add in, when I say efforts, where things stand. You got to think about all of these top targets that we're talking about that Notre Dame looks like they're in a really good spot with. So recruiting effort / class, you got 5% of people saying A+, 17% saying A, 29.8% at A-. You got 31% at B+, 10% at B, and then a few votes sprinkled down. But the leading group B+, and the second leading group A-. That's where I landed, Darren. I told people I think A, or I said A-. But I probably lean A-. I just think that what they are building in 2025 is really special. They have more 3-star commits than I think Notre Dame like that blue chip percentage, which is how many or what's the percentage of commits you have that are 4 and 5 stars, and it's under 50% right now. A lot of the 3-star guys, low drummer recruits, they jump in early. But I think building out here, it's going to be 4 stars across the board, really. I think that blue star or the blue chip percentage for Notre Dame is going to jump above 65%, be right around 70%. I'm just pretty bullish on this class for Notre Dame. I'm really excited. Keeping Deuce Knight committed is obviously priority number one. The receivers, they have the opportunity to sign some big time talent there. And there's a prospect, I'll get into this at Blue and Gold this week, that that you're not talking about him as a top receiver in terms of who you think the Irish might land. And I'm hearing Notre Dame's the school to beat there. Offensive line, they've got 3 rock stars committed, and they still might get another in Jack Lang from Missouri. Defensive line is in a good spot with Damian Shanklin out there. The linebackers, we're going to talk about a target in a moment too, is visiting campus. And there's so many linebackers on the board for the Irish. Corner, Notre Dame can really sign a special corner class, like just across the board there. We could really get into this, but we won't for the sake of time. But position by position, there's just so much reason for optimism. Now, it is the hope that can kill you a lot of times. So we got to be careful and be cautiously optimistic at times. But I don't know. I'm bought in there, and I think this coaching staff is doing all they can, really. And call me a homer, but I don't know. I feel like I'm just kind of calling it as I see it here. Like Notre Dame being where it's located, it's not the easiest to recruit. Some of these skill players, and especially from the South and whatnot. But I covered the tail end of the Brian Kelly tenure, and I remember during the football season in 2019 being like, "There's nothing to write about. I have nothing going on." It was just so freaking slow, Darren. And we were talking before we started recording. Every day there's something. Every single day during this 365-day calendar, there's something going on in Notre Dame football and recruiting, and I think that speaks to the job that Marcus Freeman and his staff does, just putting in work on the recruiting trail and whatnot.
An A- is a fantastic grade.
Yeah.
Is there a particular player or two or a position group that elevates with the talent that could come in that could cause that A- to become an A very, very soon?
I think there's 3 that come to mind. It's receiver. You got Derek Meadows from Vegas and Raiden Vines Bright. He's from Arizona, currently plays at IMG Academy, that powerhouse school in Bradenton, Florida, which Notre Dame is recruiting several guys from IMG Academy. It's not really a feeder school for Notre Dame like that. I don't even know how to call it. It's just, they are, IMG is not in the Florida High School Athletic Association because they pretty much openly recruit players. So they play an independent schedule. So they just openly recruit top guys across the country to come play for them. And it's really an academy. It is a football factory down there. Notre Dame recruiting several top talent there, and Vines Bright is one of them. So, and there's other receivers on the board. Notre Dame's got 2 committed. They could take up to 5, Darren. So you have a lot of potential movement there. Linebacker is one. They have 2 committed there. Hearing they could take up to 5 linebackers. So Nathaniel Usu Boateng, younger brother of Jeremiah Usu Kwaramoa, another IMG guy. That's a top linebacker target for Notre Dame. Hearing good things about him. And then corner, we've talked about a good bit in this interview. Dallas Golden, Mark Zachary, Jameer Joseph. List goes on. There's some big time corner targets out there for the Irish, and they can take a few more there. So those are the 3 positions, along with holding on to Deuce Knight, making sure you do that. That's what can elevate, this class from an A- up to an A or A+. But yeah, I think A-, B+ is probably, a fair grade for the Irish at this point. Saying that it's an A right now might be a little optimism coming out of Mike Singer, but yeah, I think B+ A- is good.
So let's dig into that 25 linebacker group. One of those great players is visiting Notre Dame soon.
Yeah, Gavin Nix from the IMG Academy, that linebacker group. You got Nix and Usu Boateng. It's a heck of a group. So Blue and Gold's Kyle Kelly reported last night that Nix is going to be visiting campus March 25th. Or March 24th to the 25th, so a couple days, and I believe that's a weekend. I can't remember. I don't have a calendar in front of me, but Notre Dame certainly lining up visitors with spring ball, Darren. So when you see guys visiting in March and April, they're lining up again their trip with Notre Dame spring practices. Notre Dame opens it on Thursday, and we reported at Blue and Gold Monday night several who are coming to campus. So just listing some of the top targets for Notre Dame. You got a top 100 recruits in Madden Farimo from San Diego, Boateng, we've talked about, Noah McHale from Southern California. Christian Jones is a linebacker from Nebraska. You got Nix, we're talking about here, Anthony Sacca, who Notre Dame's been recruiting for about 2 years, Darren. He's from Philadelphia. Brett Clatterbaugh from Virginia, who's visiting this spring. And they've, again, got 2 committed, and Dom Hulak from Illinois and Ko'okia from Honolulu. And then Antoine I don't know how to pronounce his name. I'm sorry. He's from Canada. I've got it written down somewhere,
That's
but
okay.
I don't know the pronunciation of his last name. But he's French descent from Canada, right? I think that's how you would say that. From Quebec, which I think is very, French dominated. But Antoine is visiting Notre Dame officially in June. So a lot of linebacker names to go through, Darren. It's Notre Dame doesn't play too many linebackers, but they might take a pretty big linebacker on, and a lot of those guys kind of convert down to defensive end. We've seen that with Burnham and Tui Halamaka. So again, linebacker spot, really intriguing, position moving forward for Notre Dame to watch.
Okay, that's just a sample of some of the things going on with Notre Dame football recruiting right now. To get everything one-stop shopping, all you have to do is go to blueandgold.com. And Mike, you teased it earlier, but for new subscribers, this is a great opportunity to jump on board, be a part of the Blue and Gold family, especially with spring practice getting underway.
Yeah, $1 for 2 months using the promo code UND1. On Thursday, we'll have at least 3 reporters there with Kyle Kelly, Jack Sobel, and Tyler Horga. Those guys do a tremendous job. So we'll have video report on our YouTube with highlights that our guys shot from practice. It's a full practice. They can only shoot video for the first 5 periods, I believe. But we'll have the video coverage, and those guys will talk about what they saw. We'll have tons of analysis on our website. So if you're someone who's just itching for the coverage right away, we'll have that all on our message board. And then we'll have the video to come out later on Thursday on our YouTube page. So wall-to-wall coverage, certainly at Blue and Gold. And of course, we got our print magazine as well. So at BGI, we definitely have you covered.